The founders of Chick-fil-A hate the gays, and they're very outspoken about it, and they're defiant when they get criticized about it. In fact, Cathy, who's the president of Chick-fil-A, recently had an interview with the Baptist Press, and he said the following: "We are very much supportive of the family, the biblical definition of the family unit. We are a family-owned business, a family-led business, and we are married to our first wives." Well, good for them. He continues to say, "We give God thanks for that. We know that it might not be popular with everyone, but thank the Lord, we live in a country where we can share our values and operate on biblical principles." Now, I don't have a problem with them operating on biblical principles. You have the right to do that. But I do have a problem with supporting your business when you're giving organizations like Exodus International millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. So, first of all, I want to congratulate them. They are not selling shellfish. So, good job living by the biblical principles.
They're being consistent, and they're still married to their first wives. So you
That's also consistent.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay. And they focus on hating other people, just like Jesus. Wait a minute. All right, no, but nonetheless, let's hear them out.
All right, so Cathy also spoke to other members of the media, and we actually have some audio of him talking about why he hates the gays.
I think we're inviting God's judgment on our nation when we shake our fist at him and say, we know better than you as to what constitutes a marriage. And I pray God's mercy on our generation that has such a prideful, arrogant attitude, to think that we would, the audacity to try to redefine what marriage is all about.
I love the visual there. Like me going up to God and be like, "God, let me tell you something about marriage." And about the New York Jets. Okay, with this angry conversation with God. God's thinking, hey, 10-2, man. You're at a 10. Bring it down to a 2. No, we're not shaking our fists at anything. And God never said, but God also said Solomon was allowed to have hundreds of concubines. And guys, I don't understand how they can read the Bible and think that God had only one thing to say about marriage. So their inconsistency on it just drives me crazy.
Just like the leaders of the Catholic Church, and I don't want to say this of all Catholics, Catholic nuns are lovely human beings that want to focus on, solving poverty and doing great things for the world. But the leaders of the Catholic Church are against that. They want to focus on hating gays and pushing an anti-choice agenda. And they always use the Bible, and they always use their religion to justify their ignorance and justify their hatred. And this is a perfect example of that. He's either very ignorant or he's very hateful or both.
I know, but the flip side to that is that a wide swath of the country agrees with him because they've heard from their pastors for decades now. Oh, it says you shall not lie with a man, you shall not lie with a man, you shall not lie with a man, if you're a man. If you're a woman, think about it. If you're married. Okay, so I kind of feel like, all right, that's their religion, so they get to exercise it. We get to exercise our rights and say, hey, you know what, if that bothers us, then we don't need a Chick-fil-A, and it is what it is.
I'm loving this whole exchange because it shows you that democracy is working in some ways. They are able to operate. They are able to be as hateful as they want to be, and they are allowed to hate gays, right? Mm-hmm. But we're also allowed to talk about you and judge you, which we're doing right now on the show, and we're also allowed to not eat your damn burgers or chicken wings or whatever the hell it is that you serve.
I'm pretty sure it's chicken. Okay, now here's the thing, though. When Anna says that, that's when they'll start crying. Right? They'll be, oh my God! Christians are the victims. You see this, Anna Kasparian, she's so powerful. She's part of the largest online news show in the world, and they're judging us. They're throwing us to the lions. No, we're not throwing you to the lions. All I'm saying is I'm not going to eat your chicken sandwich. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I'm not even sure about that. Anna's not going to eat your chicken sandwich. Okay, and the great irony is, the reason we have an issue with you is because you're judging other human beings. You're saying their whole lifestyle is wrong, their existence is wrong, and that they need to change who they are to meet, your definition. Otherwise, you are going to say they're shaking their fist at God when they're doing no such thing. So if you're going to make this huge deal about judging other people, then we get to judge you and say, hey, you know what? People shouldn't eat at your establishment. If you feel that strongly about it, it's perfectly okay for other people to feel just as strong. Also, it depends on how hungry you are.
in their minds, they think they're full of love. They're full of the love of Jesus Christ. And from what I know, I think Chick-fil-A treats their employees very generously, like much better than other fast food restaurants. So in his mind, he's a great guy trying to do all the right things. So he thinks we're crazy when we call him hateful. But again, I think this all goes back to why they think this way. It's because they have a very simplistic approach to religion and life. They're almost, childlike in terms of looking at things, bright line, right and wrong, good and evil. Homosexual is bad, heterosexual good. That's how they see the world, in terms of black and white. And it's an intellectually lazy way of looking at things.
Well, that's the whole point of religion.
Yeah.
Okay, don't think too much. In fact, if you eat from the tree of knowledge, we're going to condemn you to a really hard life for the rest of your existence, right? Don't eat from the tree of knowledge. We don't want you to know. Just follow these simple rules that we're laying down. And by the way, I will listen to a Christian the minute one of them, these fundamentalists, etc., is consistent enough to say, hey, you know what? I'm going on a campaign and a crusade against people who touch pigskin. Okay? Now, that is also, as you might know, forbidden by the Bible, and it's an abomination. The minute they're like, you know what, the people who touch pigskin, God, it pisses me off. It's like you're shaking your fist at God saying, I'm going to touch your pigskin. Okay? Well, then okay, I'll say, all right, this guy really believes it, man. He believes every word of it. But if you don't believe that part, then obviously you're being a hypocrite because you're taking whichever side you like of the Bible, and of course the thing you're taking is one that discriminates against people.